Hi guys, welcome to Rugby Digest podcast. We are in the countdown days. The final is just around the corner, and with that, we decided let's put in one final podcast and just see how the emotions are slowly but surely unraveling amongst us. I'm Chelsea, and with me I have Zubair and Yaqub.
Hello,
Yo,
guys.
we finally, yeah. Can you believe we did it? We made it to the final. And we only a couple of days away now.
I know I'm
It still doesn't feel
Yeah.
real at times. I don't know if it's just me, but from where we were,
Yeah, it's been a long journey under Rassi.
started from the bottom, now we're here.
Well, actually not that long. It's only been less than 2 years, but fuck, from where we were to where we are right now on the cusp of a World Cup final. It's incredible.
on the
As a
cusp
fan.
of winning the World Cup.
Couldn't have asked
80
for
minutes
more.
of rugby
And-
away.
That is the mental fortitude we need this weekend.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts? I mean, we might as well talk about that guy, Rassi, seeing as he's got us to this point.
Jeez, he's done so much for Springbok rugby. He's made us believe again.
Definitely. After the loss to Japan, where Heineke, he ripped the heart out of Springbok rugby and put us out there for the world to just, pick us off, basically. Everybody was thinking they could
Dismantle
beat us, and they did, for fuck's sake. We
Fucking
lost it.
Italy beat us.
Exactly.
so-
We were
And
losing regularly.
I definitely have to take my hat off to Rassi. He didn't have a small job ahead of him. He came in and had to take what was very much a bruised and battered team and turn them into a potential World Cup winning team. And I can only imagine that the guys have gone through some serious mental breakdowns along the way in order to get where they are. But I think we're definitely in a good place.
That 57-0 against New Zealand, that was...
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some
Yeah.
bad results in our time. But that was
Look, I
the
don't
lowest
wanna-
of the low, man.
I don't want to linger on any of that. I actually want to focus on just the vibe that he's brought around the squad now. It's completely different to Springbok teams of the past, even I'd say, in terms of the camaraderie.
Exactly, excitement.
The discipline.
We are potentially the most disciplined team.
Yeah, well,
in the world.
definitely the most disciplined Springbok team we have ever seen. That has ever been, since the beginning of
And
time,
potentially
basically.
even more physical, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, they like we've discussed in other pods, is that no argy-bargies, no little bows your fathers. If anything, other teams are trying to niggle us to try and get a rile, trying to rile us up, and it's just not working.
Well, for all we know, and maybe we should ask someone to give us a shout out who's in the Springbok camp, but are they doing morning meditation sessions, sun salutations?
I would not
You
be
never know.
surprised, though.
Yeah, I mean, England will definitely have a plan to try and rile us up in one way or another. It's like they had against New Zealand, I think they're just that team that will try that something different to put the opposition off. And these guys just don't get affected by that, man. We just do our jobs. We
So
stick to our
I
structures.
think that points nicely or leads nicely into the next point.
What is the next point?
Where will the game be won or lost?
I don't know. There's a few areas that are going to be vital to this game. For me, it's going to be set piece. And to a lesser extent, maybe... Actually, I'm not sure. There's just so many variables in a
Yeah, I
game
mean,
like this.
the aerial game is definitely going to be a factor. I'm glad we have Colby back. Although to be honest, I don't think they're even going to test out Colby's side. They'll probably just kick him up MP all day, and we might get found out, or just kick to belly, So look, at the end of the day, there's, like you said, there's so many different factors. And having come so far for both of these teams, I think right now it's just a mental game, eh?
Absolutely. I look at it purely from a female perspective on this. And without a doubt, these guys, we know that they are fit. We know that they are trained within an inch of their lives, Jedi Knight style. but the greatest strength to them, and I think that where they will stand the test is with the mental fortitude that they're going to bring. Because if they don't, if the head's not in the game, if they don't have that BMT going in, there's not a chance that they're going to be able to maintain any kind of hold on that game.
I think that also leads into being mentally there, kind of leads into the physical side of the game. So winning gain line, winning collisions, of all the points, that's probably the one point that you can point to. That and maybe discipline. So gain line and discipline is probably the two biggest factors going into this game, because you see now easily teams can crumble if they just don't turn up. New Zealand did it, Ireland did it. There are a few teams who, if you don't front up physically, you've lost the game. And it's not something you can come back from, as we've noticed. So if you're losing, like New Zealand last week, they lost the physical collisions early and they were just on the back foot the entire game. So if you're not on it from the first minute, mentally and physically, the game is almost lost. England are a fast starting team as well, so the Boks are going to have to come out and eat them hard early, and get points on the board as well.
They are. I agree with you guys, but I also think that we are going to come out firing. You know how England came out against New Zealand last week. I think it's going to be, I wouldn't say tough. I think they would probably think that they are mentally prepared going into the game. They'll obviously compare the nerves similarly to the game against New Zealand last week, which, let's all face it, in their minds was their final.
Yeah.
And according to everybody on Twitter, other than South African fans. So.
Yeah, the English media just taking a solid wank.
I'm loving it.
They're still taking a wank over this performance. It was a sensational performance, but they faced a New Zealand team that didn't look up for it at all.
And
But that's not to say that the English team that played wasn't probably one of the best English teams that've been out for a while.
Yes, could be. Also, going back to your point with regards to that could have been their final, just going through the history. So New Zealand have lost 4 times in the knockouts before the final. So they've lost 4 times in quarterfinals and semi-finals out of all of the tournaments. Of those 4, the team to knock them out has only won once. So, and that was in 1991, was Australia in 91. So it just shows, and that was pre-professional era basically. So in the professional era, it just kind of goes back to that point of that could have been their final, because no other team has basically won the World Cup after beating New Zealand in either the quarter or the semi-final.
Interesting.
It is interesting. It might mean nothing. It might mean a lot. But there's so many variables, so many touching.
No team has ever won the World Cup after having lost a game either. So either way, it's one of these teams are going against the stats.
Yeah. It's all to play for both teams.
Yeah, nobody's really been talking about it. And I think sticking to that point in terms of that being England's final in a way. Look, guys, we still haven't necessarily overexerted ourselves in any of the games. And,
I would agree.
I think most Springbok fans would agree with that point if you've watched most of the games. Last week was a bit tighter than we expected, but I think if we really needed to, we would have changed the game plan if we weren't in control, Yeah. We didn't feel like we were in control.
We were always ahead in that game, so we weren't chasing at any point. So we kind of just ground them down. And you could see at the end, the players were, if you had to ask them to do a fitness test after that game, they'd have been cool, let's do it.
Yeah.
Everyone. Because they, like you said, they hadn't really overexerted themselves.
Compared to an England who had Johnny May go off injured, Owen Farrell playing on one leg for most of that game.
Sinclair, there were a few. Willie Hines has now gone home. Been replaced by Spencer, who's come straight in onto the bench.
Ben Youngs is probably going to play the full 80, so...
Yeah, definitely. So an early injury there, and you're throwing the cat amongst the pigeons.
Yeah, we all saw how they... who was it? The one English centre who played in the 2003 World Cup?
Greenwood.
How he was pointing out how Delendi is our main threat. And I thought that was an interesting point. Just because he's definitely one of our better attacking outlets, and he definitely gets gain line all the time. But I think if they're gonna focus on him, Lucanio, Pollard,
Exactly, you're opening
keep
up
other
the field.
Oaks in the back, like Colby, if we go wide, and then that's not even taking into account our forward. Guys, we could genuinely do what England did to New Zealand to them. And that's something that nobody has even considered. Our team is that good. Physically, we know we're going to be there. With England, for them, it's more, are they going to be there?
Are they going to be there mentally more than anything? Because we know that of all the teams going around World Rugby, they're probably the only one who can come close to the power that we bring in the forwards. It just comes down to the mental, because if they're not there, we are going to fuck them. Like at scrums, at lineouts, at mauls. And if we get that going, something that we haven't seen, and just looking back to the series when we played them last year, 2018, it was Rassi's first series. And when we got the ball on the front foot, we actually spread it out wide. Willie looked like fucking amazing in that series, basically, because we spread the ball a bit wider and we scored tries in the wider channels. Both of our wingers, Nkosi and Dianti,
Which is actually
was
something I
scoring.
feel has been missing for me of late.
Yes, it has. But
World Cup
it's
rugby
not
as well.
something that we can't produce. So
Love
we
a
know
flashy
what
wing
our
run.
players are capable of doing. And teams might not be set up for those wide plays. So I wouldn't be surprised to see balls going say,
Back to
straight
Billy
from
as
Pollard
another.
behind Damien to Willie, and then Willie straight out to the wing to Colby, and then attacking wider channels or first phase specifically. That's something I'm looking to see if we're getting go forward, let's say in the scrum or the maul.
Yeah.
Something we haven't done in this tournament outside in the smaller games.
Agreed. And then I don't necessarily want to bring this up, but Jerome Garces, do you think
Oy
that's
vey.
the referee's going to have much of an impact on this game? I mean, all I want is for him to blow the team, the team moving forward, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
blows like scrum dominance, just basics, because Kyle Sinclair is gonna get destroyed.
He could get, like, he is a weakling in the set piece.
As much as they've been talking him up, we won't give away a little run-in try on the line, like he scored against Australia, and we're smashing these Oaks backwards.
Yeah, it's a
Believe
big
Unipola, you're going to get destroyed, mate.
Watch Faf.
You're going
He's gonna
nowhere.
destroy him this
Yeah,
weekend. Like,
he's done it. We've seen him do it.
and like smashing him backwards at times. It's gonna be fascinating.
I don't think Garces is going to be too much of a concern
I also don't think so.
if he blows consistently for both sides.
It is also his last game as a
The
referee.
thing is, in finals gone by, the referees are it is a final, so they're more reluctant to blow up. You're not going to see a shitload of penalties. We're not going to see 20 penalties in the game. Like, it's just
No.
not going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised to see like a 6-8 or something along those lines, but it's not going to be super. There's not going to be a lot of penalties either.
Yeah, but I mean, also
Um,
both teams are going to keep it tight, not give away penalties. It's
Yeah.
also
But
But I think
discipline.
the final kind of
there's
dictates
actually
that.
going to be a lot more flow to this rugby.
But it's going to come down to, interpretation, basically. And hopefully just awards dominance.
I'm
at the scrums and
I'm
set
okay
piece.
with it just because he was our ref last week and he was great. And we kind of know how he blows now as well. Mentally our team is there.
Yeah.
I know he did referee for the England-Australia game as well, but that game was kind of a blowout and the stats dictated exactly what was going to happen in that game.
I mean, you can only hope that the guys had a good breakfast, a good poo that morning,
not
and they
even
slept
worried
well the
at
night
all.
before. And he's, like Garces himself, is coming in a good headspace.
I don't think anybody's going to have a good night's sleep the night before. Can tell you that much.
Well, if you're English or South African, that is.
I don't think I'm going to.
I think England,
Jeez.
the English are rightfully favourites. They have shown it, like that extra that we haven't shown yet. And I think it goes back to the fact that they have been together for 4 years as a unit. and we've been together for 2 years as a unit. So Rassi obviously has started out with his defense, set that up, and we'll add the other attacking like things as we go along. We're not at the same point as they are in terms of their evolution. So,
As
but
a
not that
unit,
we can't
yes.
do it.
But as independent elements, we have the good fortune of a Super Rugby season, which means that a lot of those guys have either played against each other or alongside each other in their respective teams. So yes, we haven't played as one monster unit as a national team for as long as the English have, but we aren't unfamiliar with each other in that
No,
space.
but just
Also-
specifically to the structure of how we play.
Oh, okay.
And it has nothing to do with Super Rugby. It has specifically to do with Rassi and his game plan and what he wants to put out there. Eddie has had 4 years to come up with to evolve this team. Both teams are not the same teams as they were when they played last year. South Africa are a lot stronger. England are a lot stronger. It's just like, can South Africa find that extra 1%? Which we've been touching on it over the past few pods, and we know we have the players capable of doing it. It's just how's the game gonna dictate? Because it's all gonna be dictated by scoring. Like if England get ahead early, if we get ahead early, it will kind of dictate the flow of the game.
It would. And I mean, looking at key players in their match, then who do you guys see as the key players for us, or at least who you want to see perform, or who do you think will impact the game the most if they perform?
I think for us, because I mean we are Springbok fans, and I'm guessing we're all going for a Springbok victory. For me,
If not,
Peter
please leave the room.
is just going to show everybody just how good he is this weekend, because everybody's been talking up the Underhill and Kyrie combo, but they haven't come up against fucking Peter Steph du Toit. And if he has his best game, which he hasn't, he's showed glimpses. Like last week he showed his hardness. In other games he showed his little deft touches. If he gets that perfect game together, it'll go a long way to the Springboks winning it, and he'll nullify their two open-siders. Last week they kind of had the run of the game because they were getting go forward. As an open-sider, if your team's going forward all the time, you can attack breakdowns, you can, but if you're getting hit back, you're less effective. Or if you're getting tackled back, or if you're not tackling the other team backwards, you're taking that extra foot backwards. And I think Peter Steph is going to fucking show everyone just how fucking good he is.
You see, I'm in half minds here because I have my favorite ginger, and Kitsy for me, I think the man has come leaps and bounds, and he's always been a magnificent individual on that field. But I really think that if he's going to shine, it's in a final and it's getting a try over that line. But then at the same time, I've seen this incredible evolution of Lut, who I've never previously ever been a fan of, and I think that there's definite room for him to make his mark. So I'm not going to choose a player, unfortunately, but if I really had to choose a man that had to absolutely knock it out of the park this weekend, it's going to have to be Billy, which it feels like a bit of a contradiction when it comes from me, but I mean, he doesn't have a choice right now. He's either going to be the most hated man in the nation, or he's going to step up and perform and become the most loved one. So I'm going to go with second choice here. Philly.
So are you choosing a player, or you're not choosing a player? Is Billy your player? 'Cause he needs to have a big game.
He does. He doesn't
Just
have
a solid
choice.
game.
Yeah.
Because
do the basics, man.
because he is that pivot in the back line, he actually doesn't have a choice. So
The stats should
this
show.
hurts me to say it, but it's going to be Billy.
The stats should show that he's due a big game.
Yeah, and to be honest, I back him. I back our
We
boys.
have to. We have
Stronger
no choice
together,
now.
guys. That's all I'm gonna say. But I mean, there's definitely quite a few key battles. I like that you mentioned Lut. I think his battle with Itoja is gonna be monumental.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm torn between. There's 3 players for me, and why I'm not gonna choose. It's not even gonna for me. Why I'm not gonna choose a forward is I know what I'm getting from the forwards. I know we're gonna get that go forward. I know we're gonna smash Oaks backwards. I know they're gonna bring the intensity, but it's that where I think the extra 1%ers are gonna come is if the backline players perform. And look, if Pollard is just firing and just running at George Ford, and he can honestly
Yes.
run over fucking George Ford.
Another thing,
You know?
like you're saying now, we might not even need to go to Damien. Pollard can take the ball up on
Comfortably,
the line.
and
because
it's
he's a
against
big
George
boy.
Ford, dude.
Exactly, he's a big boy.
So yeah, there's a lot. Lucanio Am even.
Goal kicking is
Yeah,
massive.
exactly.
It's
That's
going
gonna
to
be everything.
Literally.
Potential drop
I
goals.
was about to say, wouldn't that be
I'd
beautiful?
love to see a couple of drop goals.
Yeah, it would be
It's been a while since
sensational.
this
But more
classy
than
days.
anything, I just want to see big guys smashing each other.
I mean, that's what I was also gonna say. I mean, one of my other picks would have been Damien. The Damien against Farrell is gonna be
Yeah.
sensational. To be honest, I'm hoping for a little Owen Farrell red card or something like that. That would be sensational. Just Karma is a bitch. Fuck that guy.
Chances
This-
that a red
yeah.
card gets blown.
But
in
yeah,
the
and
final.
we haven't even mentioned that little guy. He can just, if we need a moment of magic,
That little sexy blonde's
Cheslin,
gonna come throwing in.
Colby.
Oh, you're
guys.
talking about little Colby.
Yes, he could be the difference, guys. Look, Johnny May against Cheslin Colby, it's going to be an interesting matchup, but like we saw against New Zealand last week, Johnny May actually doesn't have that much gas.
No,
Like,
well, he was half injured. I mean,
he was,
did have
but
a dead leg,
he's
so-
still half injured now, so
Yeah, I also think that's a factor where a few
him
of their
and Owen
players,
Farrell.
Owen Farrell, Sinclair, they're not 100%. They might be 99% and they're all going to play. But I'm not sure if they are all 100% fit.
Or could they all have been faking it last
No,
week as a
not a
massive
chance.
mental psych out?
Nobody's faking
And actually
it
they're full
against the All
strength.
Blacks.
No
I
way.
don't think so.
But then we did discover that the All Blacks are really that shit, so actually
True
chances.
story there. So you're going for Willie and you're going for?
I'm going to go for Pollard.
I'm going to stick with my Peter Steph because he's going to teach these little kids what a true blindside still has value in today's game. Like, I just look at Peter Steph and because blindside is so unfashionable nowadays, he is like head and shoulders the best in his position in the world. Without a doubt, he is the best blindside, out and out blindside flanker on the planet.
Well, mainly because most sides actually play two open sided.
It's because they don't have a quality blindsider, basically.
I mean, New Zealand, I know everybody talks up RD, but he's only good really when you're going forward.
And he's an open sider.
I mean,
He
yeah.
uses his speed, so you can't compare RD to.
No, but I
to the
meant
Steph
like
there.
in terms of how they're talking up England's both
Back
well
row.
their back row, yeah.
Look
You
at
know,
the back row played really well last week. They were sensational.
but fucking Benny Vunipola, dude, you are gonna get smashed backwards.
Dwayne is also versus Billy is
Anyone.
going to be sensational.
Anyone in
Just-
our pack against Benny Vunipola is going backwards.
The
man.
massive collisions that are coming this weekend is
It's literally going
it's
to
getting my blood
be
flowing so hard.
Clash of the Titans through and through.
It's gonna be epic.
I'm excited for collisions. You know what? Like watching that series last year between England and South Africa when they toured here, it was Rassi's first game. It was Khaleesi's first game as captain, and now he's playing his 50th game in the final. It just seems like it's all coming together, and I think Khaleesi, the people have given him shit. People have been calling for Francois Lowe to come in, but I think Khaleesi is also due a big game. Like me personally, I wouldn't have Francois Lowe in the starting lineup because I feel like our back row would be too slow. Playing Dwayne, Peter Steph, and Francois Lowe, they're just too slow. Those two young terriers from England might run right at the breakdown. So I think Khaleesi still adds value. His speed at the breakdown, he clearly has a great impact on the team. Like, you know, they obviously back him. He's got them all playing together. He's clearly the leader of this team.
He has the vibe.
Yeah. I agree with
And you can see that with a lot of the videos that the guys have released in the change room, as well as like interviews with him. He literally he's taken ownership of his role in this team, which, to be fair, I mean, like, you're captain of the Springboks. It's not an easy task. We lose, the country hates you. You win, the country loves you. I mean, it's that black and white at the end of the day. So, I mean, give the guy a break. It's taken him a while to settle into this role, but I think he's very comfortable, and it does help that we're on this power trip.
Agreed. I mean, I also really like that a lot of the guys have come out and spoken about how Rassie has actually brought this team together so well, you know, which I think is so different.
Without a repeat of Camp Staldraat. She's
Legendary.
Yeah, but I mean,
blemish in our history.
what are your guys' predictions for the game then?
I'm gonna go with a buck win, and I'm actually going to go with a comfortable buck win. Everybody around the world is not giving us a fucking chance, which just makes no sense to me. We are the form team in the world. Whatever anybody says, like, England have lost like 3 games this year. They've drawn against Scotland. They've lost twice against Wales. We've lost 1 game against the All Blacks at this World Cup, which we still think could have gone either way. That's the only game we've lost all season. We are the form team. I really don't get this whole talk. It's just over the last 2 weeks that England kind of came up against 2 soft packs and bullied them. They're not the fuck going to do that this weekend. If we get ahead early, 2 scores, we're going to win comfortably. I'm going for a 10 to 15 point buck win.
Jeez. I mean, I can definitely see that happening. I just don't think it's going to be that high scoring. That's just for me. I'm going to go with probably 2 tries in the game. I think there'll be a try for England and we'll score a try. Probably a good old maul or a little penalty try, because our scrum is going to dominate at some point.
That's one thing we haven't spoken about.
Genuinely.
We've done it to them when they toured here last year.
And we will. Our pack is better now.
Carl Sinclair, Jamie George were all in that pack. They got smashed. Murray, Toje, Billy Vulapola.
And we weren't even playing our starting pack now.
Yeah, so it could be a massive factor. Like, that could be a weapon for us to score tries.
Definitely.
If we have a 5-meter scrum.
And we saw from last week, Jerome Goss is I think in the in the group stages he was a bit less consistent with that. But we've seen now England against Australia. England got a couple of go forwards off of their scrum, and Australia even won a couple of scrums. Australia won a couple of scrums against England, so like
Australia have a decent scrum,
but we are destroying Australia's scrum all day. We destroyed Australia's scrum with our second team when we beat them by 30.
We are destroying most scrums at this stage.
Look, that could be a major factor, and I think we probably will win by more than a score. I'd say I'm going to go with a 9-point win, 18-10.
Yeah.
I mean 19-10.
I'm going to also go, I was thinking more along the lines of like 22-9, somewhere along there.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm backing our defense hard here. There are a lot of players in our team who haven't even played at the top level. If like a lot of things went right for England last week. If those things go right for the Springboks and those passes stick,
we win comfortably.
We could tear them apart, and nobody will see it coming. But yeah, we know what our players are capable of.
So
I agree with you.
You see, I'm going South Africa to take it by 7, but here's where here's where the stickiness comes. I'm actually seeing us go into the upper 20s on this. Like, I think guys are going to be out to prove a point. I also think every single opportunity is going to be capitalized on. I do think that there will be a drop goal. Without a doubt in my mind, someone is going to classy it up. And I think there's going to be a drop goal that will come off the back of that. And I would love it if one of our forwards scored a try. I mean, come on.
Peter Steph, like the steward was calling.
It's like a little Christmas gift, all beautifully wrapped up.
I don't know, for some reason I actually
like
have
120 kilogram man.
for some reason, I actually have I just have this image of Pollard just running over George Ford and scoring a try.
Really?
And he's done it. Well, not against George Ford necessarily, but he's done it against the All Blacks.
See, now my
so many
vision
times.
with Pollard was more along the lines of just a little drop goal. Poof.
I mean, I wouldn't put that past him either. He could just do both.
But I don't think England, unfortunately, and this is why it's a pipe dream for me, we would lovely see, I don't think England's going to give us the space to capitalize on it.
Yeah, but that's why we're gonna go straight through the middle instead of out wide. And even then, if they start piling in the middle, we just get it to that little guy outside, and I back him to come up with a little moment of magic. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, it's gonna be fascinating. It's gonna be so fascinating
One for the
to
books.
see. And
Can you believe we are literally less than 48 hours away from potential World Cup glory?
The countdown starts now.
it still doesn't necessarily feel real, yeah.
No, it doesn't.
So we're all going for the Springboks to win.
Springboks to win. I mean, I think that's outright.
Come on, Porker.
Yeah,
Indeed.
yeah, sure.
Bring on the green and gold and bring that trophy home. We're waiting.
Peter Steph will play of the year.
Okay, big
He's
calls.
going to get man of the match
Big
this
calls.
weekend. And
Big goals.
crown
But
him.
absolutely. So, guys, I hope you're looking forward to it as much as we are. I think you can hear this. I would have hoped for more upbeat out of this podcast, but I think guys are just as nervous as they are excited. So, onwards and upwards.
Come on, boys. We
Yeah,
made
let's
it
do
all
this.
the way
We're
to the
going
final.
all the way.
Nobody's going to stop us. Come on, Kitsy. Come on,
Yeah.
Marks. Come on, Koch. Bring it home in the second half.
And
Bring
also
it home,
Bring it
boys.
home, boys. We need
Yeah.
this as a country. Bring it home.
The satisfaction I'll get of looking at Eddie Jones's face.
If they lose.
Oh,
If they get destroyed, it would be
Yes.
sensational.
it's going to be quite glorious. So, guys, please shout out at Twitter. It's
Yeah.
going to be going off. But just let us know. Like, we're keen to know what everyone else feels, and we'll definitely be doing a rundown after Saturday's game.
Yeah.
Cool.
Come on, you Bucks.
Come on, boys.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers,
Thanks for
guys.
listening.
Cheers.